Hello, everyone, and welcome to my webinar. I'm your host, Jan Bobat, and today's webinar will be about all the fundamentals of how to create and how to start your website. Okay, basically, we're going to work a lot on menus, forms, and background images. Okay. I also prepared a cheat sheet. So of course, after the webinar, whenever you guys want, just send us an email and we'll be happy to send you the cheat sheet for you to see exactly how to build the forms and menus, of course. Okay, so first of all, I would like to speak about very quickly on how we're going to work about on the background images. Okay, now a lot of people before I start, this is the website. I'm going to show you on how to make menus like these, submenus. We're going to work on forms, how to make beautiful forms. Okay, but before we get into that, I'm sure a lot of people, when they start working with Webydo, they don't know how to make a background image, a banner. So this is exactly what we're going to work on at the beginning. So first of all, a lot of designers, when they start with Webydo, they open a blank canvas, of course. So let's open a new page. There you go. We're going to work also on pages and navigation a bit, making sure everybody understands how everything works. Okay. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to write down your question here, and we'll be happy to answer them all. Okay, so at the beginning, when a lot of designers start working with Webydo, the thing is that they want a background image. Fine, not a problem. So what they do, they go on their basic elements and drag and drop the image. They're going to double click on the image itself, on the image element. And here, what we're going to do, we're just going to put a nice background image like this. This is our image. So what a lot of people do is that they just simply kind of drag it to the top left or to the middle and just press and hold the shift key because everything is relative and drag it to be exactly fitting to the layout in the Webydo Studio, right? And then when they publish, there was a small issue, and this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to publish it, and we're going to see exactly what is the result of just dragging and dropping an image element, putting a background image, just extending it throughout the whole layout of the studio in Webydo. There you go. This is exactly what it does. Okay, so what to do? Because what we want to have is something like this that takes exactly the whole width of the website itself, regardless of what screen size you're working on. Okay, so the easiest way to do it, first of all, this is not the approach that we want to that we're going through here. Number one, I'm going to delete it. Number two, we have elements that have what we say fit to width, such as the shape. Okay, I'm going to go back here very quickly. Okay, we're going to work on the shape. Number one, before I show you background images, what can you actually do with the shape element? Okay, number one, you can make a circle with the shape element. How do I make a circle with the shape element? So let's go in my studio very quickly. First of all, if I press and hold the shift key, I can drag it. My sizes will be all the same. Now, how do I make a circle? Simple. Corner radius. The corner radius has to be at its maximum, meaning that I can throw in any number. Let's say 500. There you go, a circle. If let's say we just want 500, whoops, sorry, 500 here, 500 there. This is what you can do with the shape. Simple as that. Now, this is number one. Number two, how do I actually make a background banner? Okay, I'm gonna drag and drop the shape, go to my position tab and select the small fit to width here. And I'm going to show you right now. I'm just going to drag and drop the shape element. And do you see under the position tab, I have fit to width. Boom. This means I cannot drag this element left or right. I can only drag this element up or down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press 0, y equals 0, which is going to be at the top. Drag it, make it long. Of course, if I want to be precise, I just type in 850. And under the fill, as I say here, fill tab, add background image, and then you can fit the image however you want. Simply click on the background image and select the image that you want to fill as a background. Now, we're going to work a tiny bit about the shapes because there's not much to talk about, but of course it is extremely important. You see the difference that it makes between this web page and the previous one. Am I right? So now that we have figured out how to make full width background images, what can you actually do with this image inside the background? Number one, let's look at the position. Let's look, sorry, not the position, the size. Now, you can fill it, you can fit into that shape, so it doesn't take the whole width. The element takes the whole width, but not the image inside of it. You can stretch it. I wouldn't recommend it I wouldn't recommend stretching the image throughout the whole shape because maybe the image is not that wide. Okay, or you can make it as the original size, which also is not that good. That's why we usually fill the image, but you can try any way possible as long as it satisfies your design needs. Now, position. I can position that shape wherever I want. I can position it to the top left, to the top center. Okay, if I want top left, okay, we see a small difference. Smaller images work better, of course. Now, repeat. What is a repeat? It's basically repeating that same image throughout the whole the whole shape length. Okay, so you can have a horizontal repeat and vertical repeat, or you can actually have a pattern. You're going to mostly use pattern in most of your background icon shapes, let's say. Okay, then you have scroll with page. What is exactly scroll with page? So in a lot of websites, you're going to see certain, they call it parallax animations. Okay, in Webydo, we don't call that parallax animations. We call them scroll with page. Okay, so what is exactly scroll with page? The image right now scrolls with us, right? But what we want exactly is for the image to stay there and to not scroll with us. Right now it's scrolling with us. So scroll with page, nope. Okay, so we actually kind of zoomed in a bit. But you can see it doesn't scroll. It stays locked under the shape. Now, of course, it's always good to play with it. Okay, you see here? Now my fitting is better because if right now I scroll down, it looks nicer. Or I can make it our original size. Is it okay? Not really much. Stretched. Fitting would be the best. And positioning. So bottom left. Here you go. Now I have a nice background image. Okay, that's number one in regards to background images. Now, in regards to, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, we see a lot of nicely gradient colors. Okay, so I found one, which is this one. Okay, remember that as a background image. Okay, even though we have a background image, let's put a background image. Number one, this one. Wonderful. Now I'm also I would like to save these two colors, by the way. Because they have been very useful to me. Whoops. Copy and paste. Put it back to 0. There you go. Oh, what did I do? Oh, here we go. Okay, Wonderful. Let's go back to page 1. So I put my shape fit to width background image. Now I'm going to duplicate it because I want to keep the same size, or you can, again, drag and drop the shape and fit to width. Now I like to duplicate because it duplicates exactly the same style and exactly the same height. I'm going to put y equals 0, and we're going to put a gradient color. Okay, so we already see we have white and a transparent color. We can change it to this nice pink, and the other color will be this nice yellow. Now, of course, it fills the whole shape, so the only thing that we need to do is change the opacity a tiny bit, like this. There you go. So you have nice gradient colors that work with each other. So try and test it out. It's not supposed to be part of the webinar, but I felt that an important feature to show you. Yeah, so I'm going to leave 5 minutes before I continue on with the forms, actually, and I'm going to answer questions. So go ahead, ask away. Okay, we have a question here. Can you put animations in background? So animations in background, the only thing that you can actually put is GIFs. So for example, I'm just going to bring this down. Let's put a nice GIF. I mean, the only GIF I have is the GIF that I showed you before. I'm just going to go on GIFs. So this is a GIF, as you can see. Yeah, here you go. It's like a video. Or you can put a video that also has shape fit to width. There you go. Shape fit to width, and you just need to put the video inside. Okay, we're just gonna reset everything. Whoops, sorry. Let's put back the background image. Downloads. There you go. Can I repeat how I apply the gradient? Sure. It's a shape, simple as that. And then fill, you normally see solid color, but you forget that we also have the gradient tool, which is very nice. And you can choose the direction of the gradient color. So either it's only top right, just simply right, whatever works best for you. Okay, so let me explain in a few words how to do the background image. Okay, 1, you drag and drop the shape. On your design panel, you will see the option under the position tab, fit to width. Check it. Again, on the design panel, you want to be very precise. Simply set the Y to be 0 and just drag it, extend this to, okay, we're going to play around with positioning, 850 pixels. Now that you're done with positioning, go on your fill tab and fill it with the background image. And as you can see, it loads the background image. You can drag and drop again the shape, same thing, fit to width, Y equals 0. Height is, if I'm not mistaken, 850. Now, under the fill, instead of solid color, you guys know that you also have gradient. Select gradient. Select your 2 favorite colors that make a perfect gradient color. Change the opacity to 70 maybe. It's always good to test it out. And voila. So we have a small issue here. Well, it's not an issue. It's a question. It's a confusion. The difference between having a background shape and an image. An image, of course, you can upload an image through the properties panel, through the settings, okay? But inside that shape, we're working on shapes. We're not even working on images. We're working on images inside the shapes. We're not working on image elements. This is the difference between a shape and a simple image. As you can see on my website, on the fundamentals, shapes, these are PNG shapes, transparent shapes. We have another question here. What's the ideal average original image sizes for fit to width and still maintain quality? So first of all, Webydo is pixel perfect. Of course, do your best not to upload images that are lower than 900 pixels wide and 900 pixels high. Okay, it's always good to have good big images. Now you can all find stock images, and this is kind of a secret that I'm sharing on the following website that I'm posting for everyone. It's called pexels.com. Okay, so let's move on. So this is for our shapes. Now, what I want to show you something more important. The form element. So number one, how to understand the Webydo form. Okay, so number one, let me show you a bit about the Webydo form. We're going to drag and drop the form, and as you can see, this is a plain, as if it was a very old form. Okay, so use it because you can actually design any type of form that you like. For example, if I go on my website, if you guys want me to share this website, please go ahead. I'm going to paste it here. There you go. And you can go under our forms, InVision. So InVision, I would like to share this with you guys. I basically replicated the InVision form. Okay, the contact us form. So simply put your name, put your email regarding what, and put your simple message. When you're done, you just simply send it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I, oops, sorry. I'm going to show you how I did this form, by the way. Okay. So number one, to understand the form itself. So let's understand the form. The form element is a main form element. Inside that main form element, you have grouped element fields that you cannot ungroup, and you need to work with that. Now, of course, you guys will have a bit of a hard time at the beginning, but don't be afraid. It takes time, but if you use exactly the same, if you guys use the same workaround that I use, okay, you'll do perfectly fine. Okay, so let's start. What we want to do is we want to replicate this form, okay? But before we replicate it, let's understand a few things first. Number one, this is a main form element. This is, in other words, a shape. So you can customize it as if you were customizing a shape, okay? Adding background images and adding color. In addition to it, if you go on your properties, you can add a drop down field, a checkbox field, a radio, a shape even inside that form, image, text, and you can basically do anything. So what we want to do, number one, we would like to replicate the form that we have. Okay, so what do we have here? We have hello. Okay, so this is a simple text. Am I correct? Yes. So let's start. Let's move this here. Let's just say hello. Hello and dot. And it's going to be, of course, remember, my title. We're going to change this color to this color. Just want to copy. This is also a neat trick. Select the only dot or the only character that you want and just simply click on the text color right above. No need to go on your design panel. More colors and just type in the color of your choice. So it has to be with hashtag and the color. Save. And you have two colors here. And you don't need to have two title elements. This is a simple element. Okay, so we have our text. That's number one. Number two, what do we want to do? We want to have this here, okay, field, email, and phone number. So generally, if you guys look at the field itself, this is a grouped element that you cannot ungroup, okay, which is okay. What you need to do, simply work with it. So number one, what we want to do, we can say your name. Okay, now let's say we don't want to say your name here. We want to say your name on the field itself. So we're just going to remove it. Now you cannot delete the text block. You can delete the text inside the block. Okay. What I normally do is that the text inside the block, I would prefer changing it to 1 and line height. So the font is very small. This gives me a chance to make that field smaller. Okay, because I'm sure that it might bother a lot of people. Next, let's click inside this field. So on the design on my right now, we're gonna change the width and height of the field. Okay, so let's say 300 long, and 30 high. Wonderful. Now this field is required. Now before I go back to the field itself, I want to talk very quickly about this field is required. This field is required. You cannot remove it. You cannot remove it like I did on the top block here, because this is a certain property that appears if the field was not filled in or if the field was wrongly filled in. Okay? If you do want to remove the message here, simply click on the field. This is where I'm coming back to the field, and you see where it says required field. Well, of course, you decide if it's a required field or not, but the error message, you're just simply going to click here and it disappeared. There you go. So that's number 1. Okay. Now, this is how you kind of manage your field. So in addition to that, let's put a predefined text. So remember I deleted enter your name. Let's put enter your name here. This is a predefined text. Field space is a space after, so that we can properly see the field, the predefined text. This means that when I'm going to click inside, the enter your name will suddenly disappear and I'll be able to enter my name. Okay. Now, let's delete that. Let's redo it again, because what we're going to do is literally replicate this. So, something extremely interesting is that instead of text, you can change the text with an image. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, number 1, let's extend this 300. Let's make it even 350 on 35. Oh, let's make it 30. Error message will take out. And the label text, let's just backspace this. And you see here image. So you can actually put an icon. Now, before I put an icon here, well, actually, I'm going to put it first, and I'm going to share the secret where I find my icons for now until we integrate a new platform. So, where is it, Jan? Icons. So we want the name. This is the user. Like this. And we change it to, let's say, 30 on 30. Save. See? It's a bit big. This means that I need to push this down a bit. Okay. Now, make that tiny bit smaller. There you go. I can double click here, change the image, or even center it like this. And you got it. Now, let's work on the field itself, on the design of the field. The design of the field is exactly the same as if it was a shape. So we see here, if you go on stroke, that as a default, it has a 1 pixel stroke all around that shape, let's say. What you want is just to have a bottom stroke of 1. So number 1, you put a global stroke of 0, and then a bottom stroke of 1. As you can see, I only have 1 line. Cool? Now, what I want to do also is to put my field space at 30. Let's even make it 35. Why? Because if I put this image, and I'm going to press and hold the shift, here it's kind of under. So if I click a few times on arrange, it's going to put it to the front. Now the thing is, if I publish this, I'm going to see that it starts 35 pixels after the beginning of this field. And I would like to make it as 35 height, like this. Now I'm using my arrows key, and this is going to be the best way for you to work with forms. And I change the field space to 45. All I need to do now is publish, and let's see if I can enter my name. There you go. Jan Bobat. Cool. Now let's say I want to set a different font. Here we have a few fonts. Now you cannot upload your fonts yet. We're going to be able to update that hopefully very soon. I selected Ubuntu, and you're going to see the difference of fonts. A very small difference, but still a difference. And of course, again, I can change, let's put this here, the color of the font on which I'm texting. So I can change the color to, let's say, pink, so that we can actually see the differences. There you go. Simple as that. Now, so this was great, everyone. Now, the thing is, I don't want to repeat myself. I hate repeating myself. I hate redesigning things. What I want to do is simply do what most lazy people do, is duplicate, because it's easy. So I'm going to duplicate it, and now I have something even better. Now remember, use the snap to smart guides. Why? Because if, let's say, you want it to the same position, there you go. You want to make it bigger, however you feel like it. This is towards the center. Okay, sorry, just wrongly used it. So you need to select the grouped element. Now you see it's in the center. You see my snap to smart guides. Just going to move up a bit. That's it. So you kind of feel the snap to smart guides. You feel it. Okay, you see that you cannot move a pixel higher. So when you see that you cannot move a pixel higher, it means that you're good. Okay, so here what we're going to do, we're going to double click again, change it to multimedia. That means email. Again, remember to change the sizing, and you got it. Let's duplicate this. Oh, snap to smart guides. I got it. All I need to do, double click, change smartphone. Wonderful. Now, what did I want to go over is the button. So the button, unlike the buttons elements that we have, the button is a composition of a shape, and inside that shape, we have the text, okay, like a text element. Now, the thing is that you cannot move the text outside that shape, okay? And if the text is sort of outside the shape, it's going to be very hard for you to kind of move it around. For example, like this. This is very hard to handle, and I'm sure a lot of you have been having this problem. Here's the best way to fix it. I am strictly using my arrow keys. I'm going to click here. I'm just going to move it a tiny bit with one arrow. Make sure that it's inside that shape. I'm good. Here it says, sign me up. Sign me up. And you're going to see that, again, the same problem happens. Sign me up, exclamation mark. Now, in this case, pay attention. I'm just going to concentrate on the shape. There you go. I fixed it. I want to make it big. Now, this here, I can kind of move the text, because sometimes, and I'm going to show you how I cannot move the text, when I have text like this. Oh, sorry. There you go. Now, I'm going to try and move the text right now. Impossible. Why? Because it's half in, half out. What I need to do is pull this in, play around with positioning and height because the height is 20. Okay, now I'm good. Now all I need to do is select all, center it, change its color. Instead of Arial, Valera. If I'm not mistaken, it's white, and the button here, shape, in other words, is our nice peak. There you go. Now again, corner radius, let's mark it as 15. And here's what we want to do. Okay, it's not round enough. Let's make it 25. So again, you see how important it is when I test certain elements. Now I can move this around, and you're going to see it snaps. You got it. Sign me up. Now, also what we're going to do, we're going to just kind of tiny bit reduce it to make it look good. There you go. It snaps. Now, I'm going to click on the shape, and I'm going to go to shadow. And on shadow, I'm going to make it, let's make it something like this. Now, you see a big shadow here. I'm just going to reduce it to 3, vertical distance 3, size 3. Again, oops, sorry, I said 33. You can see how much I'm playing around to spread. Let's make spread 10. Yeah, how I'm playing around with the shadows and shapes and so on. Okay, now what I want to do, let's put these back. Make the form look like this. Now, how to make the button, how to center the button with the form element. So you don't have the option of using the automatic layout tool, but you do have access to guides. So you're going to put the guide in the middle, and you're going to see, I'm just going to move it. There you go. Now, a lot of people, when they just move with the arrow, the element, and it goes 1 pixel by 1 pixel. But if you press and hold the shift key and move it around, it kind of skips a few pixels. So it saves a lot of time. Now, what are we missing? We're missing a corner radius here and a corner radius at the top left and at the bottom left. Cool. Number 1, I'm going to take out the stroke. Corner radius, let's make it 10. This is how my form looks like. Now, let's make it a tiny bit smaller. There you go. To make it a tiny bit smaller, again, you don't want to mess up with the field itself because it has a certain position. Let's change that to 250, all of them. 250. 250. Now, again, you also need to change the group here. This is a group with 376. Let's change that and just take out this icon here, because if you change the size, if you change the width, you're changing automatically the height. Okay. So we're going to make it 300. I think that would be good enough. Oops. Take this out. 300. And 300. All I need to do is push this again, make it smaller. Wonderful. Let's put the guides again, because I know somebody asked a question about how I deleted the guide. So I just dragged and dropped the guide exactly to the center of the shape. And I took the button here. I centered it. There you go. Hello. Voila. And now all I need to do to delete that guide is simply double click on the guide, and number 1, you can change colors to whatever you want, and you can select the trash can here and delete the guide. That's it. Now, what we're going to do is this. So this is a composition of 3 elements. You have the shape with a background image. Okay. You have another shape with a transparent blue-ish image, and you have the icon of Weby'nar. So let's drag and drop this. Fill with the background image. Let's go to downloads and let's put this one. There you go. Now the height of this form was 401. Let's make it 400 just to, here you go. And this height will be 400. This means the width will be 400. Not a problem. Make it even bigger. Wonderful. What I want to do to keep the same sizing is simply duplicate. Okay. I'm going to take out background image and I'm going to fill it with the color blue. And I'm going to make it opacity 80%. Now, what is the position of this shape? The position of this shape is 416, x equals 416 on y equals 318. So 416 on 318. You got it. Now I'm going to drag and drop the image element and Webydo white yellow. There you go. Press and hold the shift key. Now, there you go. You have the design ready. Oh, almost forgot. I forgot. This is 491 on 400. Not a problem. This I need to cut down. So the corner radius will be, what's this one here? This is 10 on 10. Corner radius will be on the other side, 10 on 10. And the shape also here, 10 on 10. And this is 491 if I'm not mistaken. There you go, and voila. Okay, so now we have the visual stuff ready. Let's all try. Let's understand exactly where does the data go. Okay, so let's see exactly a bit about this. So we understand the Webydo form. Okay, how to add form elements, we covered that. What are predefined text? These are the text that are inside that the fields of every element from within the form. And how to validate an email only. Okay, wonderful. Let's validate things. So at the beginning, I'm asking for a name. So a name, I'm not validating anything. Now I want to validate an email because technically, if I publish this website, I can type in Jan, I can type it Jan, and I can also type Jan. Click on sign me up. Okay, you have the thank you. Okay, and we'll get to that in a momentarily. Now the thing is, I don't want to accept 3 Jans. I just want to accept 1 Jan, 1 email, and 1 phone number. So how to validate them? So number 1, I'm going to select the field itself, the field that we customized together. And you're going to see validation is set to none. I want to validate an email address. I can validate a number, a date, and a phone, but I want to validate an email address. There you go. That's it. Now, here I want to validate a phone number. Type in phone. Now I can publish. Jan. Sign me up. Oh, this field is required. I forgot to take them off. But it doesn't let me subscribe until I have Jan at webydo1.com. And here Jan. So I see that Jan at webydo1.com and Jan works. Now phone number, let's say 336-6203. Oh, I validated everything. Wonderful. So this is how to validate an email only. And we also covered how to validate a phone number and also a date. Okay. Now, something to mention. not all phone numbers can validate based on countries, and I'm sure you guys have asked this question. For example, in Montreal, it cannot be only validated for Montreal or only validated for New York. So you don't need to, meaning that you cannot set a certain validation based on country codes. Okay. It is something that we're planning on working on, but what you can do in the meantime is on the predefined text, and this is exactly what we want to do. Let's say Montreal has always a 514 to begin with, right? So on the predefined text, I'm just going to type in 514 hyphen, okay, and just press enter. This means that here it starts with a 514, okay? So this is for validating. Now, how to set a form confirmation message. So as you can all, you could have all, you all saw, sorry, when I finished my, here I didn't validate anything, by the way, sign me up. So you have a thank you message that you can put here, okay? You have two confirmation options. So you can either have a confirmation option within the form itself, or you can simply design a thank you message and just leave the user out of this page and bring them to the thank you page, okay? So let's see how we can do that. So number one, let's quickly see, we're going to select the form itself, okay? And confirmation option, message on page. If I click on edit message on page, it's going to say thank you. So thank you, it's exactly like a text element. I can make that as a page title. I can center it. I can change its colors. Wonderful. This is exactly the same thank you that you guys are going to see if you submit the form. Now, let's say this is what you chose. Let's say you want to go back to the form because you need to change something. Of course, again, on the thank you form, within the form, you can add shapes, images, and text. Okay. Now, if I return to the form, I simply need to click on return to form. Okay. Now, let's design quickly a thank you page. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Thank you. Let's open this up. Let's delete what we did here. And let's just say thank you. So this is my thank you page. I'm going to go back to page 1. And the message on page confirmation option is going to be redirect to link. Link to what page? Thank you. Let's publish this. So again, Jan at gmail.com and 514 561 whatever. Thank you. I have been led to the thank you, as you can see here. Simple as that. Now, where is my data stored? So, number one, it is stored in two places. It is stored on your Webydo dashboard, and you can also send a notification email to the email associated with the account or the email or your client's email. So in my case, I'm going to put my email. There you go. I can add as many emails as I want. Okay. And I can choose the subject of the notification email. So this is, let's say we're going to call it the contact us page. Contact me, Jan. Send notification email from, of course it's my website, but it's from page 1. So I know where my clients are coming from. Okay, just select enter and we're going to publish. So Jan at webydo.com and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sign me up. Thank you. Okay, so the form has been successfully sent. Okay, it's just going to take a few minutes before I get the form. Okay, and we'll continue. So now what I want to cover, let's see if I covered everything with the forms. Where's my data stored? Okay, so let me show you where's your data stored, because I already submitted a few times. It should be stored on my dashboard. There you go, starting a website. Click on the inbox, you have this here. Now, if you choose form 14, remember if you have multiple forms, you can even export all the data that you got into an Excel sheet. Let's go back to starting a website. Wonderful. So, this is the cheat sheet for the, sorry, this is not what I wanted to show you. Predefined text. Okay, so I kind of confused with the menu and the form. Okay, so notes, this is the cheat sheet. I will be changing it and I will be sending it. So notes, predefined text. Simple, double click on the field, select the properties panel, and it's there. Validating email and phone. Double click on the field, select properties panel, validation, drop down, and you will see it. Multi-line type. Okay, you're gonna have a section where you want your users to put more than one line. So simply double click on the field, select the properties panel, go to type and select multi-line. Removing required. Please do remember it is the most important part. Double click on the field, select the properties panel, uncheck required field and uncheck error message. You don't need to uncheck required field if you still want it to be required. Design a one-line field. Remember we did it. You simply need to double click on the field, select the design panel, go to the stroke tab, put 1 pixel to the bottom stroke, and you got it. How to design rounded fields. Same exact thing with a stroke. Right below it, you will see a corner radius. So double click on the field, select the design panel, go to stroke tab, and put the amount of pixels on the corner radius. And of course, the last one, it is extremely, and I would say the most important one to work with positioning and sizes, and make sure that all field group sizes are all the same. Let's work on the menu element. Menu element is exactly the same concept, if not easier. You have a main menu element, and inside that menu element, you have blocks. So number one, how to understand the Weby'nar menu. That's exactly what I just said. Inside the menu, you will have 3 states. You will have the normal state, the rollover state, and the active state. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to customize our menu. And I'm going to show you, after showing you how this menu works, I'm sure you will be able to design any type of menu that is sort of the same style as this one. Of course, you're going to see that Webydo will be developing animation menus that are coming very soon. So stay tuned. Okay, and once this is done, we're going to have a whole webinar on how to make a new animations in menus. Okay, so if I remember, we were working on page 1. Okay, we're going to go to my elements panel, and we're going to drag and drop the menu. So the menu has a main menu element, and inside of it, you have blocks. So number 1, if I double click on the block, I'm going to see my design. I can take this off. I have a normal state, a rollover, and an active state. A normal state is the state that you see here right now. A rollover state is a state when you put your mouse over the menu, it will change states based on what you want. And the active state, right now we're working on page one. Page one is not visible yet, but if you were working on the home page, then the home page would be the selected one, okay, on whichever state I choose. So number one, edit states together, okay? Unless if you know what you're doing, don't check this off, okay? So number one, fonts. It's always important to start with fonts, even though you start with sizes. So fonts. I choose Valero Round, okay, and I'm gonna keep it to black for now. So of course, sizes, you can check sizes, meaning that this is the size of every box, every block, okay? From 150, 150. Of course, in addition to it, you can add margins to every block. So you can put a certain space between every block, for example, like this, okay? But we're going to work with that a tiny bit later. So you can fill the normal state with color. Let's fill it with pink. You can fill with stroke. It's exactly the same thing as a shape. It's just that it has three states, sorry. And the font color, will change it to this, okay? Upon rollover, we want to change it to yellow. So the shape will be yellow of every box. And let's say the font will be dark blue. Again, if you have a look again, it's dark blue. This is on rollover. On active, if I go back to my home page, my active is my home page. If I look on my active state on this menu, I see that there is a stroke all around the home page on the active state. Okay, so now let's work with menus. So number one, let's make a better menu. Number one, I hate colors. There you go. I don't like strokes that much. Whoops, sorry. Just made it even worse. 0. Okay. And let's say on rollover, I like strokes. So on rollover, I just want a bottom stroke of 2 pixels. This means that every time I roll over the menu, oh, I need to change the font as well. I'm going to have a bottom stroke of 2 pixels. And the active state will have a stroke of 2 pixels. Okay, but right now we have no active states. We're not working on any pages that is visible on the menu. So what we want to do, I want to show you the difference between a normal menu and a dynamic menu. What is a dynamic menu? Before I show you what a dynamic menu is, let me show you what a normal menu is. This is a normal menu. Now, a normal menu, the effect, the state on which we're working on is 150 pixels. Okay, we're concentrating on the block. So any effect that we put in will follow the block itself. Now, dynamic menu will not concentrate on the length of every block. It will concentrate on the length of the characters that are inside the fields. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply select the main menu element, go to my properties panel, and simply select dynamic menu. Now, don't freak out. Of course, everything will be squeezed in, which is okay. Okay, so all we need to do is they're still blocks. All I need to do is put a certain margin of 25 or more, however you want it to be. There you go. So now when I roll over on about, I'm going to have the stroke follow me from A to S. Or if I roll over pricing from P to G, our forms O to F. Now I would like to show you something extremely important, is submenus. Okay. Some menus do not have dynamic functionality. Okay, submenus are the same as normal menus. They're just under it. Now, what is the best way to not redo everything all at the same time? Because right now, what you already know is that if you click here on the box and you click on the plus, it will create automatically a new page with a submenu, and this is not something that you want. Okay, right now I do have a submenu. It's under our forms, and it's called InVision. Okay, so InVision, all you need to do is play around with it a bit. So we're gonna go on its normal state. Normal state, I want it to be as similar as possible. So I change the font. Let's change the color, which is white. Okay, now the margin, if I put 10, it's gonna move to the right. If I put minus 10, whoops, sorry, just need to double click again, clicked. If I click on, if I select minus 10, it's gonna move towards the center. Now, this is good. All I need to do is put another margin that says -1, but let's say I want 5 maybe. There you go, 5. Take out the color completely. Stroke, of course not. And on rollover, I just want a bottom stroke of 2 pixels and active as well. Now, of course, you see it like that, but if you publish it, okay, give it a minute. And of course, I'm going to be working on mobile menu. Something extremely important to note is that when you go from this kind of menu to a tablet or to a landscape or to a mobile portrait, you're not looking at the same menu. You're looking at a mobile menu. Okay, and in a few minutes, before we finish this webinar, we're going to just simply review again what is the mobile menu, how to upload a nice menu, how to find other menus, and a small secret that I would like to share. Of course, I love sharing all my design tools with all of you if it helps. Okay, so let me just refresh it. I might have worked too much on this computer. So in the meantime, you can still continue asking questions. Page 1, and let's publish it. In the meantime, I know that you guys are asking about responsiveness, which is okay. So again, I would prefer publishing the website first, but just want to show you what we're going to work on. As you can see, I'm just going to reduce the size of my browser, and you're going to see that my mobile menu will be changed like this. Oh, I forgot to activate it. My bad. Let's see if it's activated. No, not yet. Just a moment, please. So I haven't finished on how to create submenus. Okay, I'm getting there now. And I believe that we're going through a small update, which is perfectly fine. Let me just log out and log in back again. So in the meantime, let's review a few things. How do I apply a submenu? So number one, it is extremely important just to simply concentrate on the design. Okay, when you finish concentrating on the design, all you're going to do once I sign out and sign in back again, simply go to Pages and Navigation, and you're going to see all the pages inside your platform. I'm going to show it to you like this. Oh, this is not the page that I was looking for. Sorry. Starting a website. Let's see if I can publish again. Here we go. Now it should be responsive. So I'm just going to reduce. I just want to show it to you very quickly. And boom. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do this in a few minutes. Okay. So I have created forms in Vision. So I'm just going to simply go on Pages. And here I have top menu. I can add a new menu, by the way. Okay, so on top menu, I have Home, as you can see, About, Pricing, Our Forms. Now again, you see these pages? These are all pages. Okay, simply click and drag them slightly to the right, and that's it. You just created the submenu. Now, how complicated is that? Complicated, right? So all you need to do again, if you want to take it out from the submenu, drag slightly to the right, to the left. And you see our menus just appeared again. Okay. Now, if you go on here, I just customized again the menu, the submenu, exactly like in the first, exactly like I showed you before. It cannot be dynamic, but you can still customize it. Okay. Now let's see, what am I missing? Oh, apologies. I think I accidentally, there you go. Okay, now the question that you've all been waiting. So how to apply a mobile menu? Of course, I'm just working on the tablet. Of course, I could have done that. In any layout, but I'm just going to work on the tablet because in any other layout, it is exactly the same thing. So you see here, all I needed to do, and this is exactly what we're going to do right now. We're just going to open the page 1. This, we're going to get rid of it. Oh. There you go. So here, again, if you look on my rules of responsiveness and how to do it right webinar recording, you're going to understand how to work with responsiveness. Okay, but basically you need to hide the desktop menu and you need to go on your basic elements, drag and drop the mobile menu. Okay, so the mobile menu, as you can see, is a shape, and every time that you click on that shape, the menu appears that you can also drag and you can also drop. So if I click on this is a shape. Shape I can design exactly like the normal shape. I can make that shape fit to width. I can make it here. Now, under the fill, remember that these 3 lines is just a simple PNG. I'm just going to take out the color. If I change the color to none, so you see it's transparent. Of course, I understand that there is a stroke and there is a corner radius, and this is an image. If I delete that image, there's nothing inside, right? So you need to add a background image, and I'm going to show you where to find, where is my, I think that's the one. Oh, there you go. As you can see, this is a PNG image. A PNG image. Why a PNG image? Because PNG images can be saved with a transparent background. Okay, please remember that. So you can basically customize on Photoshop, or you can go on the following website, and this is the secret that I'm sharing with you. It's called flaticon.com, where you can have over, let's see, 211,424 vector icons. Okay, so mobile menu. Let's just do menu. There you go. You should have it. Okay, so tough choice. Am I right? So menu, we can make this menu. Yeah, let's say like this. So I'm just going to click on the plus. I'm going to go to the top right. I'm just going to change its color to white and download collection, PNG. And again, always download it and make it 42 on 42, as you can see here. 42 on 42. Add background image. Let's go on my downloads. Oh, here we go. And where's the image? Where's the image? This is the menu. Oh, I think this is it. Oh, there you go. Now the size will be fit or original size. There you go. And this is another menu of mine. Now if I click on it, I'm going to have this that I can actually extend it. Let's make this interesting. If I click here, I can fill it with a gradient color. Now what colors? I can fill with this color, and I can fill with the other colors. I can change, oops. I can change Valera round. I can change the color of the font. And it's really awesome. Again, in Vision, you need it's separate. Okay. InVision has also a grading color, what color, pink, and yellow. And Valera round, white. You got it. 1, 2, oops, 2, 3. Like this. Okay. So, notes, supposed to be the menu. Dynamic menu. Double click on the block, select the design panel, position and margin, 25 pixels. Select the main menu element, go to properties panel, check the dynamic menu, and you got it. Next, submenus. Remember, you cannot make them dynamic, and it's the same design as the normal menu. Mobile menu. What is the mobile menu? It's a shape. It has a background image, and the background image is a PNG image of 42 pixels on 42 pixels. And that's basically it. So again, thank you very much for this webinar. I'm just going to answer questions, so go ahead. I'll be happy to answer them all. So for those who are asking questions that are kind of outside the menu, the form, and the background images, I will be covering other subjects every week. Okay, we're also going to do webinars twice a week. So yeah, so non-relevant questions, I'm going to save them for later because I will be covering them. And you can still ask questions to Raphael at webydo.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Now for the close, we have a good question here for the close button on mobile. It doesn't work like to open and to close the mobile menu. It's simply you click on the shape, it opens up. You click on the shape again, it closes automatically. There's no open or close, but we will, again, like I said previously, we will be having nice looking menus with amazing animations. So bear with us, and you're going to see how amazing it is to design with Weby'do. Okay, so we have again another question: how do we change the submenus? Okay. How do we change the position of the submenus? Again, you can change their position through the margin. Okay, so it's always good to play around with the margin. So again, if I put 10, you see it's more towards the bottom of the menu. Okay, even further in. If you put 50, it's even longer. So let's do 10 for now and continue. So we have a question in regards to responsive forms. Responsive forms, you can make them responsive, but you cannot use the automatic layout tool in making the form responsive, meaning that you cannot make things automatically responsive because they won't work. The automatic layout tool won't work inside the form. Of course, if you want to know how to make the form responsive, stay tuned for either my next webinar, or you can actually check my webinar on webydo.com on how to do it right, and it covers every subject in regards to making a website responsive. And I would also like to mention again that when we finish this webinar, the recording will be sent and will be sent to all of you, so don't worry about the recording. Okay, so we have a very interesting question here. I've made a menu with a large title in one option. How can this could be separated with proportion? I'm not sure if I understood your question, but I'm just going to give it a shot. I'm guessing that there's a certain font size, there's a certain text size on the active state, and on the rollover state, you kind of see that it's kind of bigger, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. If it is, just please remember to edit all states together. But sometimes you're going to see, and I'm just going to refresh it because this is also a common, it's not a mistake, it's not a bug, it's just simply how it's designed, and you just simply need to understand how it functions. Okay. But a lot of times, and I'm going to go to page 1. I'm going to go to my rollover state. Every time that I put a stroke, unless if I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, let's say I'm going to put a stroke of 0, and rollover, it's going to be 2. Here you go. So here we see that the titles in the menu sort of move. This is not something that we want. We want them to be circled, right? So here's the idea, and try to bear with me on this one. Here we see that it kind of pushes. It adds 2 pixels all around it, and it pushes the font 8 pixels lower. So if you're adding 2 to it, let's try, and again, I'm trying live with you guys. Let's try and make this 6. Okay, so the padding from the top is not 8, it's 6. Okay, so I see that it's much better, but I see that it kind of moves horizontally a bit, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's change it to 1. And again, we're working on dynamic menu. Maybe it would be better if we work on a normal menu. And if I'm not mistaken, it's 150. Let's make this 100, like this. So we kind of see here that they still move. And this is because if on my rollover state, there you go. They move. They move less, that's for sure. Okay, so again, we just need to work around the padding, because if we're adding 2 pixels or 1 pixel all around every box, then we should pay attention to the padding of the font itself. Maybe we need to have a smaller padding, for example, 5, and now, well, it still moves, so maybe we need to put more, so maybe 9. Again, it adds to it. So if it adds to it, again, we need to check. 9, 2, and 2. Oh, here we go. Almost there. We're almost there. So we just need to play around with it. So how do we change? We have a question here by David. How do we change the position of the secondary menu level arrow in the mobile menu? If I'm not mistaken, it's exactly the same if I click here, if I click on the arrow, and this is going to pop up, it's exactly as if I was creating a submenu on my normal desktop. So again, if you look on my normal state, InVision, sorry. Whoops. Harbor Forms, InVision. Oh, here you go. So I filled it and I just played around with fonts and strokes, and yeah, same as a normal menu. Okay, so we have a very cool question here from Tamara. Is there a way to make social sign-up forms so people can register with, let's say, their Facebook account? At the moment, we don't have that feature. It requires a database, and databases in platforms like Webydo, like Wix, do not have register databases yet. We are planning right now. We're concentrating on having new features such as menus, better forms, having templates, also widgets. We just launched two very cool widgets called, number one, we have improved the HTML widget. Okay. And we also improved, if I'm not mistaken, this under galleries. Sorry. There you go. So we have a light box, which is kind of a pop-up menu that you can customize. We have hover effects, very nice hover effects. So right now we're just improving our code, but we will be launching menus. We will be launching the feature of layers to be sort of, well, more and more similar than Photoshop. So we have a lot of projects that we're working right now. They do take time, but we will be able to launch basically everything, hopefully. But yes, having a database and social signups is part of the sitemap. Okay, we have a very cool question from Francois. So number one, we do get emails with field 51, which means kind of you're asking the name. Not a problem. If you want to avoid that, just press on where it says enter your name, just double space, and you won't see it again. Okay. Second question from Francois, how can I change the order of the fields when tabbing? Okay, remember here, I'm going to press tab. Oh, sorry, let's go on my published version. Yan, tab, yan, right? So how do I order them? It's basically on, let's say you're creating a field, the next field that you create will be the second tab. Oh, okay, so we have a cool question in regards to the secondary menu level arrow. How can we change either its position or its color? Right now we can't. We could, but this is not for a webinar for today. This would be a webinar for how to code with Webydo. But for now, in regards to strictly design and how easy it is to change colors of certain text blocks, etc. No, we don't have that option yet. Okay, so thank you all for joining the webinar. I'm very happy that we did it together. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll be more than happy to help. So thank you again, and have a pleasant day. And I'm expecting a lot of beautiful forms. Okay, thank you.